Oh, welcome back to day 320. Yeah, 320. Anyways, didn't you love this shirt? It's so ugly. It has a drop sleeve, and then it got two ruffles on a long sleeve. And I love it so much. It's such a random design. It's so unnecessary. Like that, it just looks like it's rolled up, but it got ruffles. It also says very, very, very faintly dogs, naps, and weekends because it's a sleep shirt. But I may or may not have worn that a few times. And so look how sheer it is. I wore it underneath other shirts, or I wore it with just jeans, and I'm like, yeah, this is a real shirt. My coworker who used to be super duper normal, like normcore, which is not an insult, she absolutely loved it, unironically. But she's like, oh, did she have dogs? I know one of my coworkers had dogs, so it was like something about like, oh, but I don't really blank. I wish it had like blank, blank, and blank. And I'm like, cool. I think it was like naps or dogs, and she wanted to change it for something else. And I'm just like, it's just a shirt I got. But yeah, they got ruffles on both sleeves. Anyways, I was shaky and sweaty earlier, so we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. And you're probably like, hey, why? And I was like, I was nervous because I posted on my old Facebook with all my old college people, other college. I went to community college and then a university, and then all the old people from like way back in the day with like my church and stuff, and all of it. And I came out, and I don't know how to work Facebook, so I chose to post pictures, and then I changed it to my profile picture, and those both popped up. And I don't know how many, I mean I do, but I don't know how many active people on Facebook I was friends with, like if those are still active accounts. But I think like 12 people liked or reacted to my coming out post, and I'm like, that's nice. I changed my name, and you can have your old name, so I put it as my birth name, my name, so people can find you. So I'm like, okay, sure. I also didn't want to change it, and people were like, who the hell is this guy? So I had really long hair, wasn't trans, out as trans, and it was like, some of these are middle school, like the very first person to like it, by the way, very first person, a middle school friend of a friend. I'm like, great, love it. So a lot of my friends are just from middle school, and I'm like, I don't even know if you know who I am. But I then had to, because my siblings like, oh, by the way, you should change your pronouns. I'm like, how do you change your pronouns? I didn't think that was, I didn't realize that was like, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't realize it was a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard articles that are like, Facebook, you can change your gender to being 85 different genders. You are 85. Oh my god. And then it was like male, female, other, and you write in. So it's not 20 or 85. It is infinite. You can write. I know people writing random garbage in that. Like, I know for a fact that was a thing. So I changed it to other. But then it's like, no, you have to write in what gender. And I'm like, okay, just never mind, because I wanted it to be because if you choose other, you can have it be she, her, they, them, or he, him. And I'm like, I would like it to be they, them. But then they're like, no, you have to type in a gender. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. So I changed it to male. So it just says he, him, because I didn't want to type in anything and I wanted to do it quickly. So I changed it because I didn't even realize. For me, I'm so used to it being like, they posted or blank, like name posted. So I but I didn't know what to caption it, so I just captioned it, like, wrote, like, thanks for the birthday wishes. Changed my name to blank, like, my name is blank. I go by he, they, thanks. And then, like, 4 photos, because my newest photo was 3 years old by now, and that was when I wanted to update people because my family, and I shaved my head completely. I shaved it to buzz all over. I think my face really does well with having hair on my head, by the way. So, yeah. So I'm glad I have this hair, because my siblings like, I liked your growing out buzz cut, and I'm like, it turned into a helmet in about 2 weeks after that photo. It turned into a full, like, that joke about a helmet, like really hard helmet hair, like it looks like a helmet, and it's really hard, and it just, like, is a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it would turn into that very, very quickly after those photos. So I'm glad those photos were as good as they did, or as good as they were. And so a bunch of people liked it, or a bunch of people give it again. Last post was 3 years ago, and I don't even think I posted those things. I think other people posted them, and I was tagged in it. So I'm like, before that, it was in university 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm glad that people even saw it, which made me feel good. I'm keeping track of how many friends I had. I already got rid of a lot of homophobic and transphobic people that used to be part of my church, that I had a friend for multiple reasons. Mainly church, just went through Facebook. Like, you want to go to an event? You gotta be on Facebook to know about it. So I would have to be the connection through Facebook to this church group, blah blah. So I decided I'm going to that was why it was so hard, is because it was old church people, and like older people, and then from church, and then people from church that I haven't seen in a while, so older but not like age wise. And then but I got rid of a lot of the ones, like, they would post, like, oh, they, them pronouns are so difficult. Oh my god. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to learn multiple languages. Like, started learning multiple languages. Pronouns are hard in every language. Languages are hard. It ain't, they, them pronouns ain't special. It's just hard. Also, if someone calls me, like, I make jokes about it on here. No, I never got insulted if someone says one or the other. Where there was one, like, when I went to my doctor's recently, I went, and the nurse was like, oh yeah, me. And it's like, Mr. And then looked at me and went, Miss. And I just like, but with my more masculine name. So I'm like, okay. And then on the phone, it was, so it was like now Miss, and then masculine name. On the phone, they were like, Mr. Feminine Name. And I'm like, that's me, Mr. Feminine Name. Thank you. And then shout out to when I was calling my pharmacist, because I was like, hey, I need more testosterone. It's not showing up. And they're like, oh, it expired. I need to just hit up your doctor real quick to get it renewed. It should be 2 days tops. I'm like, chill. So when I was doing that, they're like, what's your name? So I said my name, because I didn't know if you can search it through my name, or has to be my birth name. So, but I said my name. And they're like, could it, because they were going to say my birth name, and then I think it clicked, testosterone, name, name, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it's under blank. Yeah, yeah, because they're like, could it be under a different name? And I'm like, yes, it could. And I didn't do it to be rude. I thought that they could search through my edited name, but apparently not, because it's my legal name is still my birth name. So, part of me is like, you're going to come out, and then you have to take it all back. I'm like, if I do have to take it all back, so be it. Who cares? If I'm living in the moment, I'm living in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I realize that in 6 months, I'm like, actually, I'm completely cis woman. Okay? Cool. I'm a completely cis woman. Chill. I think it really proves that you can be looking like anything or sounding like anything, and people will be okay with it. Like, I kind of got like people being like, oh, you have a really deep voice for a girl, and I'm like, thanks. Because it's just like, yeah, okay, but no one thinks anything of it. They're like, cool, you just have a deep voice for a girl. Yeah, it was really, really funny, just that my voice, month 2, just like, see, the thing is that's funny to me, is that these things happen in between shots, and so it's so funny to me, because like, the first shot, I have started getting reactions, I like getting side effects, like, it's not side, like, it's the what you're getting it for. So reactions, a weird word, but reactions, the first shot, and it was like 2 weeks, and I'm like, 2 weeks ago I got a shot, and now I'm starting to react. So with my voice, it was so funny, because it was like, I got 3 shots, so it was like tiny little vials, literally this big. I got 3 shots, my voice like, hey guys, what's up, it's your boy. And I'm like, really? Really? 3 shots? Like, that's it? Like, that's it? We're done? Like, we're here? We're good? Like, what? It's actually really interesting, because I think it's because I have my resting voice like, when I'm talking loudly, already kind of higher pitched than when I'm really relaxed. I'm trying to relax, or when I'm tired, but we're trying to relax. So I'll start talking up here a little bit. And then I realized, when I want to emphasize something, I can't. It doesn't go any higher. So one time I was trying to emphasize earlier, I was going to be like, oh no, and I realized there was no more higher. There was just none. And I couldn't make it any higher. It just crapped out. And so I realized I can go deeper a lot more easily than going any higher when I'm trying to be friendly or trying to be something. So I think I need to start being like, no, let's start baseline. Let's start like my natural voice, because like, you know, customer service voice, I always try to go friendly, or I try to go higher. It's just a thing that I was taught. That's kind of, I call it customer service voice, but it's funny because I don't work customer service. What I mean is talking to people in customer service, like anybody, like if I'm talking to talking to somebody that's working, a worker, I'm going to be super duper friendly with them. So I'll go high pitched, trying to be like nice, and I'm like, there's no higher though. So that's, I think, my highest, and then around the house. But then around the house, if I try to go up to try to do a voice, like a funny voice, it's just like, there is no higher. There is just none. So it's really funny that I know this one guy I was watching a guy, and he was doing voices, and going down, he just couldn't. It stopped. Like I said, like, it just, you can't. You're done. That's your cap. You're over. Goodbye. But then he can do high, or a certain like higher voice way easier, and I'm like, I could never. So I think I need I don't know if it's about training, But it's so funny that it's just like, I don't know how to do higher pitched anymore. Like, I couldn't Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse it, you know what I'm saying? But yes, anyway, so I was really nervous posting, but I'm really glad that I did. I wanted to also, I got, maybe I'll put it right here. I have a little, you just saw it. I will describe it. You just saw it. It's a little cutout of a little dinosaur that was in a card. So it was a card that my siblings got me, and you pop it out and you make the dinosaur. And I try to get a nice picture without things in the background, but because it's tall, it sees for a while behind, so it's just my cake mess. Because my sibling made a cake, and it has to be super duper altered to us in this house, because each of us have a particular thing we can't do. And so it's a really well done, it's really nice. So it's a really good cake, but it was chocolate and caramel and ganache on the outside. Oh, and peanut butter icing, and then ganache on the outside. And it was so funny because we were eating it, and my mom was like, "Oh, it's like Snickers. It tastes like a candy bar." And my sibling just goes, "Yeah, it does. I didn't know how these flavors would work together, but it really does taste like it works like a Snickers." And my sister just puts down her plate and goes, "What do you mean you didn't know how it would work together?" And my sibling's like, "Well, I just didn't know. I thought they would like taste good, but I didn't realize what you were going for." And my sister just goes, "I asked you what I thought. I asked you if you thought that was a good cake combination, and you just said yeah." And my sibling's like, "Well, I thought it would taste good. I just didn't realize they were pre-done together flavors. Caramel," because she kept hearing date caramel because we made it out of dates. And so I guess she didn't think about it. I don't know. And so she's like, "I just didn't think about it." And it was so absolutely funny to me that my sister just like, "I asked you, you just let me go for it." So it just like, just imagine just hearing the most random two flavors and just being like, yeah, that sounds good. And then it just like, so anyways, it did taste good. She made them into little squares, put it up, do a smiley face with like the two pretzels sticking out because she thought it was really cute. And I sent a picture I saw online of that kind of cake, that kind of design. And so that's the design that she went with, and it was actually really, really cute. It was very hard because unlike typical cakes, the vegan icing was very slippy, didn't really set the right way, and then the gluten-free cake was very, very moist, very, very good, but crumbles really, really easily. So I'm like, yeah. Anyway, there were like two little squares. I ate a large fourth. You're like, how do you do a large fourth? Well, it was cut slightly off center because there was a dowel in the center. I got the large fourth, and let me tell you, don't regret it, kind of regret it, kind of want to eat more. So, yeah. Anyways, goodbye.